What is it, Craig?
Hey! Get out of here, I'll call the police!
It's too late for that. The car's ours now.
Yeah, ours now.
It's the only way I have to get to work.
You should have thought about that the 15th every month, sir.
Yeah, the 15th of every month.
You have yourself a nice day now, right?
We lost the car.
This can't go on. I can't take this much longer.
You used that B word before. Are you thinking more seriously about it now?
I don't know. I mean, I don't understand what it all means.
Why don't you give Jack a call? He used to be a bankruptcy judge.
Yeah, I know. It's so embarrassing me. I don't want to talk to him.
If not a close family friend, then who? Do you want to go through another night like this one?
I can't pay it all off. Even if I worked 100 years, I'm drowning in it. So I was wondering if you could help me with some questions.
I'm a retired judge, Craig. I can't offer any legal advice.
I know, before I talk to a lawyer, I want to know a little bit about the options. I mean, I don't even know what the difference is between all the chapters.
Well, from everything that you've been telling me for the last half hour, you're talking about a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. That's where you decide to liquidate. Well, in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, what you're doing is you're telling the court that you can't afford anything beyond the basic necessities of what it takes to keep you and your family alive. And that's the reason that you can't make any progress on your debts. The court then frees you of any legal liability for most of your unsecured debts.
You see, you explain things better than anybody else. You don't make me feel stupid.
You still have that fishing pole I gave you?
Yes, sir.
Well, bring it down to the house on Saturday afternoon. We'll see if we can give the bass a good scare. All right.
So I'm the debtor, the person filing for bankruptcy.
And the creditors include everyone that you've loaned you money or given you services that you haven't paid for. Bankruptcy law divides debts and bills into different kinds, primarily secured and unsecured debts. And a secured debt, the creditor has a lien on the debtor's property, and that property is the creditor's collateral. This might include your home. The bank holds a lien against your home. They can take it away from you if you fail to pay.
Sort of like my car.
Exactly. Then there's unsecured debt. In this, a creditor has no collateral, and he or she is called a general unsecured creditor. Now, this type includes most credit cards, medical bills, utilities.
So bankruptcy will wipe out all of this debt for me.
No. No. Nothing in life is that simple. No, you're still going to be responsible for certain obligations. Taxes, for instance. Filing Chapter 7 does not get you out of paying most taxes.
Oh, well, I haven't done any estimated withholding on my second job, and my wife and I haven't paid property taxes on our house in the last year.
Well, those are going to have to be paid somehow, even after your case is over. You can't wipe out all of your obligations by filing bankruptcy. But you can ask your attorney about these as soon as you get one.
You mentioned before that Chapter 7 is liquidation. I mean, I hear that to mean I'm going to lose everything. Is that right?
No, again, it's not that simple. The trustee is going to want to look at your property.
Wait, now, just who exactly is the trustee?
In every bankruptcy case, a trustee is appointed to look at the documents and ask the debtor questions. The trustees also look for what property you have that they can pay the creditors with.
So what, they take everything I own?
No. For the purposes of bankruptcy, they divide property into exempt and non-exempt property. The trustees will take the non-exempt property and get what they can for it. They'll either sell it or auction it or whatever they can.
So what exempt property does my family get to keep?
Well, exemptions vary from state to state. In Virginia, you get to keep a certain portion of your retirement account, a certain value of clothing, household goods, family heirlooms, wedding rings, tools of the trade, pets, and a certain value on a car or a truck. And there's the Homestead Exemption.
Does this mean we get to keep the house?
Not exactly. The Homestead Exemption allows you to keep several more $1,000s worth of property of your choice. You could apply that to your house. There's a limit, time limit on claiming it, so you should claim it right after the 341 hearings at the latest. For a full list of what you can keep or what you can't keep, you really ought to talk to your lawyer.
But the trustee takes everything that's non-exempt.
Not necessarily. In fact, most of the time they don't take anything. If they choose to abandon your property, it's called a non-asset case.
Well, what do you mean by abandon?
They're looking to get the top dollar value out of your non-exempt property that they can in order to pay off your creditors. Now, if for some reason they figure that they can't get the full value out of a car or furniture or anything, then they might choose to abandon it, technically. That means they choose not to take it from you. Well, it's all up to them. That's why it's very important that you list all of your assets and your property on the schedules so that they can consider it.
Well, I'm ready to do whatever it takes to stop the calls and letters.
And it will. It's the law. As soon as you file, the court will order all of your creditors to stop contacting you. It starts with an automatic stay. And as soon as you file, you should refer any creditor that calls to your lawyer. Then as the process goes on, your debts are discharged. And at that point in time, it means you really don't have to legally pay anybody. However, you may decide to pay. If your financial situation gets better, you can voluntarily repay them.
Well, how long does this bankruptcy process last?
From the time you file your petition to the time your debts are discharged, a few months. That's if there's no problem.
Dinner.
What'd you find out from Jack?
Well, we're going to have to make some decisions. He explained to me some things I didn't know.
Like what?
Well, Chapter 7 bankruptcy legally frees us from having to pay most of our debts, but they can still pop up on our credit report.
Does that mean we'll never be able to get credit again?
No. The credit report should show that our bills have been discharged in bankruptcy, and that should be on it for up to 10 years.
Well, at least we won't have to make any more payments.
Not exactly. Jack said that not all debt can be discharged. If we lied on any loan, can't get out of that. And I still have to pay alimony, our back taxes, your student loans, and certain cash advances on credit cards.
We have to pay for all of that even after bankruptcy?
Probably. And we can lose anything a creditor has a valid lien on, unless we pay for it.
Well, we should just call the finance company and have them come pick up the motorcycle and the home theater unit.
No. Jack said that we need to check with a lawyer before we voluntarily hand anything over. And honey, one thing that he warned over and over is that we've got to be completely honest. We have to tell them everything there is about our financial condition.
Here you go. Thanks a lot. Another thing Jack emphasized over and over is that if there was something, anything we don't understand, we're to ask our lawyer. That's what she's there for.
Now, is this everything?
Well, there's a couple of other loans that we have, like the one from my brother and another from Michelle's grandmother, but we intend to pay them off.
Mr. Wells, the court and I need to know all your debts, even the ones you intend on repaying. Now, you need to make sure I have a complete list of all your assets. Trying to hide things is how people get into trouble.
You forgot to tell us about those savings bonds your grandmother gave you.
Yeah, savings bonds.
How can you sleep when we're both going to prison?
What?
I forgot about the savings bond.
Hello? No. I understand. No. If you forgot to mention either an asset or a debt, you can always go back and amend your schedule. And you should do that. You have a continuing obligation to keep your schedule honest and up to date at all times.
Craig, I was thinking, what if we wanted to keep the house?
Well, Jack said that we can keep any secured property, anything a creditor has a lien on, through reaffirmation or redemption. Reaffirmation is when we agree to pay what's left on what we owed. We'd have to sign an agreement with our creditor, which promises we will pay back the debt under the terms and conditions that existed before we filed for bankruptcy.
In other words, we keep our mortgage payments.
Yeah, if we want to do that, we have to sign what they call a reaffirmation agreement.
I don't know if I want to commit to anything right now before we know what our financial condition is. Besides, the mortgage is already taking half your paycheck.
Well, we have 60 days after we sign a reaffirmation agreement to change our minds. Otherwise, we're locked in. And Jack said on anything we reaffirm, it's like we never went bankrupt. Now, a year from now, if we find that we can't afford it, the bank can sue us, take judgment and garnish our wages to collect.
What's the other way? Redemption?
Well, that's what we're doing with the furniture. We're redeeming it with the money your parents are giving us by paying the current fair market value to the finance company. In effect, we're buying it back. But the sofa and the love seat are only worth $500. I mean, this house...
Yeah, I see what you mean. There's no way we could redeem this house. Thanks for the moral support. I've hardly slept the last 3 nights.
Relax. If you've done everything that you're supposed to do, then there's no reason for you to feel nervous.
Now, you told us we had to provide all of the information requested of us, and that we had to answer everything truthfully.
And attend all of the hearings, like this one.
This section 341 that we're going to, this meeting of creditors, are there going to be a lot of angry guys demanding their money from us?
It's not that way at all. As a matter of fact, most of the creditors won't even show up, not unless they have questions. No one's going to object, not unless they suspect fraud is involved. Most of your interaction will be with the trustee. And because it's a legal proceeding, you'll be asked to swear that the facts to which you'll be testifying are true.
The property at 109 Turtle Creek is listed here for only $19,000. You have a loan on it for $30,000?
It's another mistake. $19,000 was the assessed value of the land when my deceased husband and I bought it 4 years ago.
I don't want to know what the taxed assessed value of the land is, and I'm not interested in what you paid for it. The amount I need is what the fair market value was when you filed your petition. How many of these mistakes am I going to have to find? Mrs. Greer, when you signed these papers, you did so under penalty of perjury. I'm going to file a complaint to deny your discharge because you failed to be honest on your schedules.
I thought you said this was a routine meeting.
Oh, it is. Unless you've been dishonest.
Craig and Michelle Wells. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Is this your current address?
Yes, ma'am. But only for another month. We're giving up our house.
You will file an update?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to go over your schedules and ask you a few questions. Have you ever filed bankruptcy before?
No, ma'am. If we had, we wouldn't be so nervous.
You'll receive your discharge order in the mail.
Was that it?
Usually. Occasionally there are lawsuits and disputes. Sometimes creditors try to object to a discharge, and sometimes there are reaffirmation requests.
Are we going to get any of that?
I don't think so. But if you hear anything out of the ordinary, call me. You all should get in touch with me if you should get a divorce in the next 6 months, or come into an inheritance, or receive a life insurance payment, or a tax refund that we haven't reported already.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jack, I can't thank you enough for all the help you've given us.
Is there anything we can do?
Well, next time we go fishing, you spring for the bait.